Hello everybody. This is one of my favorite stories. It's called A House for Hermit Crab by Eric Carle. This is the same author who wrote Brown Bear, What Do You See? And Polar Bear, What Do You Hear? Let's read about it. It's about making the perfect home. I love all the squigglies. A house for hermit crab. Ready? Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the ocean floor. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new house soon. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell, and it was strong. He moved right in, and wiggling and waggling about inside of it to see how it felt, and guess what? It felt just right. But it looks so plain, he thought to himself. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. Can you sway gently back and forth in the water like the sea anemones? Good. Oh, how beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It's so plain it needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone, and gently Hermit Crab picked it up with his little claw. Can you do it? Can you pick it up with your little claw and put it on your shell? Good. Nice. You look lovely. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly along the ocean floor. Oh, how handsome you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come decorate my house? I would, said a little sea star. And carefully, Hermit Crab picked up a little sea star. Ready? Can you do it? Pick it up with your claw and put it on your house. Oh, you look lovely. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and they didn't move. Oh, how pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to make my house look more beautiful? I would, said a crusty coral. And gingerly, that means gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw. Can you help too with your claw? Gently. And place it on your shell. Yes. You both look beautiful. Look, here we have the sea anemone and the sea star. I wonder where he's going to put the coral. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling all over a rock on the ocean floor, and they grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat path behind them. And Hermit Crab saw this and said, my, how neat and tidy you are. Would one of you be willing to come help me clean my house? I would, offered one of the snails. So happily, Hermit Crab, that's right, he picked it up with his claw. Can you do it? Pick up a little snail with your claw and place it on your shell. Good job. Yeah. Sea anemone and the sea star. And look, you put the coral there. I wonder where he's going to put the snail. Put it right here. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. My, how fierce you look, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come protect my house? I would, answered a spiky sea urchin. So gratefully, Hermit Crab took his little claw and carefully grabbed one of the sea urchins and he put it on his house. Just like you. Good job. You look great. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. It's so dark here, thought Hermit Crab. How dim it is, murmured the sea anemone. How gloomy it is, whispered the starfish. How murky it is, complained the coral. I can't see, said the snail. It's like nighttime, cried the sea urchin. Do you think they're gonna go in there? In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. Look why they're called lanternfish. They light up underwater. My house is very dark, and how bright you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come light our house? I would, replied one of the lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. My, how sturdy you are, said Hermit Crab. Would you mind if I rearranged you? Not at all, answered the pebbles, and Hermit Crab picked them up one by one, and he built a wall around his shell. Can you do it? Can you pick them up and build a wall all the way around your shell? Good. Nice. Now my house is perfect, said Hermit Crab. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit too snug, and little by little over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another, bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone. Let's see, where is she? The sea anemone, right here. And the starfish, and the coral, and the sea urchin, and the snail, and the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. They've been so good to me, thought Hermit Crab. They are like family. How can I ever leave them? In December, a small hermit crab passed by. I've outgrown my shell, she said. Would you know of a place for me? Oh, I've outgrown my house too, answered Hermit Crab. I must move on. You're welcome to live here, but just promise you'll be good to my friends. And the little crab said, I promise. In the following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and a little crab moved in. Couldn't stay in that little shell forever, said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he had remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house. It was a big, empty shell. And it looked a little plain, but sponges, he thought, barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. There are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. The end.